1. Bible records, 124 miracles. 19a. Miracles are those acts that only God can perform, usually superseding natural laws. Baker's Dictionary of the Bible defines a miracle as an event in the external world brought about by the immediate agency or the simple volition of God. It goes on to add that a miracle occurs to show that the power behind it is not limited to the laws of matter or mind as it interrupts fixed natural laws. So the term supernatural applies quite accurately? B. Miracles are also known as signs and wonders. C. Here we have one of the 124 miracles recorded in the Bible. 2. Miracle 19, Red Sea divided at just the right moment. The nation of Israel passes through on dry ground. The sea then violently consumes the Egyptian army. Exodus 14:21-31. A. Red Sea divided. Exodus 14:21-31 New King James Version, NKJV 21 Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. 22 So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. 23 And the Egyptians pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. 24 Now it came to pass, in the morning watch, that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud, and he troubled the army of the Egyptians. 25 And he took off their chariot wheels, so that they drove them with difficulty, and the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. 26 Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, on their chariots, and on their horsemen. 27 And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and when the morning appeared, the sea returned to its full depth, while the Egyptians were fleeing into it. So the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. 28 Then the waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. Not so much as one of them remained. 29 But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. 30 So the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. 31 Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt, so the people feared the Lord, and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. B. Red Sea. I. The sea so-called extends along the west coast of Arabia for about 1,400 miles, and separates Asia from Africa. It is connected with the Indian Ocean, of which it is an arm, by the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb. At a point, Ras Muhammad, about 200 miles from its northern extremity it is divided into two arms, that on the east called the Alanitic Gulf, now the Bahr el-Aqaba, about 100 miles long by 15 broad, and that on the west the Gulf of Suez, about 150 miles long by about 20 broad. This branch is now connected with the Mediterranean by the Suez Canal. Between these two arms lies the Sinaitic Peninsula. 2. The Hebrew name generally given to this sea is Yam Suf. This word suf means a woolly kind of seaweed, which the sea casts up in great abundance on its shores. In these passages, Exodus 10:19, 13:18, 15-4, 22, 23:31, Numbers 14:25, etc., the Hebrew name is always translated Red Sea, which was the name given to it by the Greeks. The origin of this name, Red Sea, is uncertain. Some think it is derived from the red color of the mountains on the western shore, others from the red coral found in the sea, or the red appearance sometimes given to the water by certain zoophytes floating in it. In the New Testament, Acts 7:36, Hebrews 11:29, this name is given to the Gulf of Suez. 3. This sea was also called by the Hebrews Yam Mitzrayim, i.e., the Egyptian Sea, Isaiah 11:15, and simply Hayam, the sea, Exodus 14:2, 9, 16, 21, 28, Joshua 24:6, 7, Isaiah 10:26, etc. 4. The great historical event connected with the Red Sea is the passage of the children of Israel, and the overthrow of the Egyptians, to which there is frequent reference in Scripture, Exodus 14:15, Numbers 33:8, Deuteronomy 11:4, Joshua 2:10, Judges 11:16, 2 Samuel 22:16, Nehemiah 9:9-11, Psalm 66:6, Isaiah 10:26, Acts 7:36, etc.